Going to call the Public Service Committee meeting to order. All members are present except for Councilman Kamer. If I could get approval of our previous meeting minutes.
Motion to approve previous meeting minutes.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We have two pieces before us today. First one is ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into an agreement or agreements and/or legislation with the Ohio Director of Transportation for certain improvements on State Route 241 and State Route 764 and declaring an emergency. Mr. Little?
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. This is another application that they're working with ODOT. So this legislation will allow ODOT to put this project forward and let them work in our city. As we did in the past, recently we're finishing up Market Street. In a couple weeks we'll be doing Hawkins. Those are ODOT projects. And as you remember, recently we had the project on Manchester Road and East Avenue, which will start next year. Well, this project is slated for 2023, and there's 4 sections of roadway, which is a total of 4.2 miles of resurfacing that we'll be doing here in the city. It's an 80-20 split. So these kind of projects are very favorable to our resurfacing. The first section will be Wilbeth Road between 77, where you get off the expressway, up to Arlington. And then when you go around the corner on Arlington on Triplet right there, the resurfacing will start at Triplet and will go all the way to Cyberlane. And then the next piece will be up by the Rubber Bowl, which will be George Washington from Triplet all the way out to 224. And then on the south side of 224, which changes names to, that part is Maslin Road, and then it goes down to the Corp line, which is Oaks Avenue. So those 4 sections will be slated for 2023, and like I said, it's 4.2 miles of resurfacing.
Okay. Any questions from committee members? Councilman Lombardo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Little, you mentioned the ODOT projects, and when you also mentioned miles of road for resurfacing, do the ODOT projects count against the miles of road that we're trying to accomplish every year? Like, for instance, it was 55, this year it's 85.
These are typically extra, okay?
Okay, in addition.
These are extra, and then we look for other funding. Some of this is funded by special assessments, by the homeowners or property owners, not homeowners all the time. And then the other is sometimes we do take it out of the issue 4 money, and sometimes we take it out of the regular resurfacing money. So the portion of this project, and I can get you the breakdown, but typically it does not count against, when we said 54 miles of issue 4 every year, this is not part of that. This is always extra.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from committee members? Any questions from council members? Seeing none, what's your pleasure, Mr. Little?
Consent's fine.
Consent. Can I get a motion for consent?
Motion for consent.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next one, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract or contracts for the replacement of the roof on the Greystone Hall and declaring an emergency. Mr. Little.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this in the capital budget recently or in the past, and we just haven't been able to do this project. So this will authorize us to bid and award that project. Greystone Hall is about 11,600 square foot. The roof is 30 plus years old. It is a very poor condition, and we would like to get this new roof on before this winter. We really feel like another winter is going to be it could cause some really internal failures to the building, which will cause more damage.
Okay. It's expensive. Just thinking. I have a question. I just can't find it yet, so I'll open it for committee members. Any questions from committee? Any questions from council members? Councilwoman Amobian?
Is this one of these flat roofs where you...
Yes, ma'am. It's got a lot of different, it's all flat, but it does have, you know, different different segments of the roof have expansion joints, and then they have parapets. So there's work that needs to be done, concrete work that meets in all that meeting. So it's a membrane product. I don't know the exact spec on it, but it's a black membrane product, high efficiency, which helps in the winter and in the summer. It's a very durable product, has a 20-year warranty.
Also, this time it'll last 20 years versus
Well, we have a
30.
20-year warranty.
Okay.
I'm not saying that the other one didn't have a 20-year warranty. All I'm saying
Okay.
is 30-plus years old. So
Okay. I just remember the school buildings, they just, all of them were flat and they're just terrible. So, anyway, and I know they're very expensive to replace.
you're right.
Mr. Little, quick question. So it says the construction is going to start in August, next month. Do you know what kind of product they're going to use on the roof? Because I noticed a lot of the roofing companies
Yes.
seem to use a different kind of material now, and almost like an aluminum-based kind of
The
material.
material that we spec'd, and I have it here somewhere. I thought I did. I can get you that, but it, I can get you the name of the product that we spec'd, but it's what, we spec'd it, and the vendors will, the roofing companies will have to meet that spec.
Okay. I'm going to leave it on consent, if that's okay, while you look for those specs, if you could. And Councilman Malik?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Little, I see we're also going to do the municipal building. I'm sure there will be more roofs in the future as well. Have there been conversations as we go through this about installing solar panels on some of these flat-roofed buildings?
We really haven't, without doing infrastructure. There would have to be a load study if it could hold the roof, hold the solar panels. I don't know that these buildings were built with that type of infrastructure. We are looking at ground solar panels, like we're doing that thing at the water plant. But I do not believe that we looked, I know we didn't look at putting solar panels on these roofs.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? If I could get a motion for consent? We have a motion? And
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Okay. If there's nothing else coming before us,
Madam Chair, we also have 9A that was added this morning.
hold on. Is that the one Holly sent over this morning?
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. Going. Here we go. All righty. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service, after publicly advertising for bids, to enter into a contract or contracts for the replacement of the roof of the municipal building and declaring an emergency. Mr. Leto?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Yes, this is the roof that currently the building we're in. After last week, it really showed how poor condition this roof was in. We had water come through the 9th floor, and part of the 8th floor ceiling, above the drop ceiling, actually it came down. So we knew that we had to do this roof, but this kind of exasperated it, it increased the need for this roof. So that's why sorry with the short notice of putting it in this morning, but the timing of it, we would like to get this authorization to put this project together, and hopefully by the time you come back, we'll be ready to bid and award this. I mean, not to bid it, but to award this project. So it's probably a couple months down the road before we can get it, the contract and get a bid and all the specs, but we wanted to get this moving before winter.
Okay.
This roof is only about 11,000 square foot.
Okay.
So,
So
I
when
mean,
you
I'm
say-
sorry, this roof is only 7,600. It's about, it's about 3/4 of the size of the other one.
Oh, of Greystone, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed in the upper floors, there's a lot of leaking, and they'll take care of any mold issues that we have up there as well. That would be a great concern because
Yes.
of the water damage, okay. Any questions from council members, committee? Councilman Lombardo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And Ms. Little, this is probably just a question out of curiosity, because with a residential roof, you know, they say nowadays you don't overlay, you just tear it off, right? So with these flat roofs and whatever compound, is there any type of scraping off or something, or are they just totally overlay?
No, this will be a total tear-off of both.
So,
'Cause what
so there
happens-
is something to tear off?
Oh, this will be a tear-off, because what happens on these flat roofs, we have insulation in between.
Okay,
Because the insulation is not underneath. So you'll have the structure of the roof, then you'll have insulation boards, and then you'll have this roofing material. So all that has to come off because of the roofs leaking. All that insulation has gotten wet, it's been ruined, so the R value is like nothing. So when we put these new roofs back on, it will increase our energy efficiency of these buildings, not only in winter, also in summer. So, now, is the payback on the roof from the cost savings of the, the utilities? No, okay? But this will help us not only with our heating, but also our cooling loads and bills.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions from committee members? Any questions from council members? Councilwoman Amobian?
Just curious, since you're looking at two major roofing projects, do you do something where you can combine them and get a better price?
Well, it's the same product, but we are bidding them separately because of the timing. The Greystone roof, we're ready to go on that roof as soon as you give the authorization. The other one is going to be, like I said, a few months down the road. So the timing of it, if we timed this a little bit better, possibly, but typically you'll get different contractors on these kind of projects, and one will be suited for Greystone. It's a little bit different than this roof, but no, typically we wouldn't bid them together.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid if the same contractor was awarded both, they might not get them done this year.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions from council members? Can I get a motion for suspension of the rules?
Make a motion for suspension of the rules?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And I think that was it. And so we are adjourned.
Our next committee for the day is the Public Utilities and Green Committee. That will begin at 2:45. Those committee members are Freeman, McKittrick, Connor, Samples, and Holland. Again, that will begin at 2:45.